Hey guys, Carl from Purple Misplaced. Today I'm going to be taking a look at Flashback Zombie Kidz from designers Baptiste Derrez and Marc-Antoine Doyon and publisher Scorpion Masqué. This is a sort of puzzle-solving detective-style game set in the world of Zombie Kidz, a previous game from Scorpion Masqué that's sort of a pandemic-esque legacy game for kids and families. But this one here, set in the same universe, is a sort of detective-style game in which you are looking through the eyes of a variety of different characters in the game, trying to piece together what's going on in the scene, answering unique questions, and trying to sort of figure out the story as you play through. No disclaimer needed here. However, I should point out that as a channel that is sponsored by Noble Knight Games, I did use my sponsorship credit to pick this up from Noble Knight Games. So quick shout out here to Noble Knight Games. Great online store with an actual physical presence in Wisconsin as well. Really great trade-in program. Really great selection of used and hard to find games. Definitely check them out if you are interested in picking up some harder to find games, or if you are interested in trading in some of your older unplayed games. I do ask, if you are going to use them, please remember to use my affiliate link down below in the description of this video. But with that said, let's head down to the table to see how this game plays, and then I'll meet you back up here to let you know what I think. All right, so before I do anything at all for this game, I just want to explain that this is a puzzle game. The whole point of this game is playing through and figuring things out and learning things and discovering things and so on. So I really want to spoil as little as possible for this game. But I do want to give you a little bit of an overview as to how the game works. So I'm going to show you some of the cards from the first case, but I'm not really going to describe anything except sort of what I see in the cards. I've now played through this game once and watched my nephew play through the game again one more time. So I basically know everything really well that's in this box. There also are some other goodies in the box that I will sort of show as is, as sort of what you see when the box opens. But beyond that, I'm not going to show anything about what's inside those things or how those things work or anything beyond what I've just said. So basically, I'm going to start by showing you the box. Because in the box, beyond the rules and flyer that come inside, there are sets of cards. This is going to be a set of sort of special cards. I'm not going to show you anything at all that's in this deck because that's special. And then there are three cases, or three sort of chapters. So I'm going to just open chapter 1, setting chapter 2 and 3 aside for a minute. You can see that there are also these small cards that are going to be some other stuff, and I will show you one or two of those in just a second. Beyond that, there's some other stuff in boxes and envelopes in the box. I'm not going to show you any of that. That gets set off to the side right now. So let me show you exactly how this game works. So starting the game, you're going to begin by reading the story for the chapter. So assuming chapter 1 or memory 1 says, "The zombies have managed to break into the schoolyard despite its high walls and have attacked our boat fort. We have to figure out how they got in and what they wanted." Now, hearing that, we're going to flip over the first card. And you can see here on the first card a bunch of things. So it's sort of a playground scene with a bunch of kids. They've got this zombie sort of climbing up the slide here. There's another zombie spinning over here on the like merry-go-round looking thing. It looks like there might be another zombie down here. And then you'll see that each of these characters / people have numbers associated with them. And basically what these numbers are represent what these cards are. So this card, number 1, is actually the viewpoint through the eyes of something. Whether it be a kid, a zombie, an animal, something with eyes is seeing this scene. And each of these numbers is going to give me the scene as seen through the eyes of the person who's flagged with the number. But before I show you that, you'll see here first off in the bottom right corner here is a number with a question mark. And that means that we're going to turn over question number 1. And you'll see here it says, "How did the zombies get past the schoolyard walls?" Then it says, "Don't forget, you are not expected to answer these questions until the end of the game." So as I look through these cards, I'm going to discover new questions. And those questions are going to be things that I need to be able to figure out and answer based on the things I see in the cards. So basically the point of this game is I am exploring the world through the eyes of all of the people and things that are in that world, and then trying to piece together what's going on and answer specific questions that the game is giving to me as I go through. So just to give you an example, I will show you 2 more cards from here. So let's take a look at number 2, this kid at the top of the slide. And you'll see then that number 2, the kid at the top of the slide, shows the water bottle being thrown and that clown that's climbing up the slide. So you can get an idea that I am now looking through the eyes of this child looking down the slide at the zombie clown throwing that bottle of water at them. And I'm actually going to take a look at number 4 next, because number 4 is interesting to me and it really shows a little bit more about how this game works, because you can see here that everything is slightly blurry. And that's not because my camera is blurry, that's because we're looking through the eyes, as you can see on this card, the eyes of this zombie that's spinning on this merry-go-round or spinny ride in the playground. And you might be able to see here that there's rockets on there, so it's spinning really fast, so he can't see very well because it's blurry. Which means there is a number there that you may or may not be able to read, and you may or may not be able to find on another card later, that will allow you to see through the eyes of that person or that zombie there carrying whatever it is that they're carrying on their head. And that's as much as I'm going to show you. I don't want to show you anymore because I don't want to spoil any more questions. I don't want to spoil any of the surprises. I will tell you, and this is not really a surprise because of what you saw in the box, each chapter or each memory in this game is going to give you some kind of gizmo that allows you to interact with the cards in another unique way, and that I won't spoil at all, except to say that that exists and that each memory switches things up in a slightly different way. I'll talk slightly more about that again, still spoiler free, in my final thoughts on the game. But that's basically all I want to show you here. Now, talking about components, again, without giving away any of the stuff that's hidden in here, the card quality here is nice. The artwork in this game I love. If you've ever played the Zombie Kidz or Zombie Teens game, this is the same universe as that, same artwork. I love the character design, the cute and crazy and quirky zombies, all of these crazy sort of tough, battle-hardened playground kids. Really, really cool art. Really fun looking at the art and searching for different kinds of pieces and placing, sort of puzzling it all together. We'll talk more about that in my final thoughts. Obviously, the only other thing is the box. You saw me take it out. You'll see that these 3 things fit in there nicely. Again, those cards inside or outside of an envelope fit nicely in there. And then you can see that all of the other cards, there's a little bit of a lip in each of these locations. They kind of slot in like that, overlapping each other and being held in by that lip. It's not the best organization, but it does hold everything in there and it works good enough. And it is nice that this is made out of sort of pressed paper and not plastic. All of these are held together with paper strips. I'm very, very happy that this seems to be somewhat sustainable. Very little plastic. I mean, there was a plastic bag around the little cards, and there may or may not be other plastic in the game, but for the most part, they've done a good job of using as little plastic in this box as possible, which is nice for me. That's all I want to show you for the components, again, because of the risk of spoiling things. With that said, let's head back up to the table to hear what I thought and also what my nephew Wyatt thought about this game. Welcome back. I hope that overview was helpful for you. Now, before I begin to sort of wax poetic on how I feel about this game, let's check in with my 9-year-old nephew, Wyatt, who is sort of the target audience for this game, to hear how he felt about his experience with it. Hey, Wyatt.
Hey.
So, we just finished playing through all of Flashback Zombie Kidz.
Yes.
I'm going to remind you now before you start talking, lots of secrets in this box.
Yes.
Don't give away any of the secrets.
I'm not.
Okay, good. Then,
My mouth so soon.
tell me, how was it?
It was pretty good. How could I say this without spoiling everything? But it's basically that there's this zombies who are trying to, end the world, and you as kids are trying to stop them. and each people that you see has a number, and if you say that number and you put the card up, you get to look through the eyes. If you look through the eyes of the spider, it goes like all around you, kind of like spider eyes. Bat upside down, you look up, you're looking upside down.
Cool. So you're looking at different cards to see different characters' views, right? So
and then that
what's
folds
the point?
into more cards, and then that folds into more cards.
Right, because you keep seeing more things and see more things. But what's the point? Why are you looking at all these cards? What are you trying to do?
To get different views.
To do what?
See, there's things called gizmos, and some cards have these things on, like, or...
Screech! Spoilers. Okay, one more time. There are gizmos. Don't tell us what the gizmos do. But sometimes there are things on cards that make gizmos trigger and do something special, right? To help you find special things. What did you think about the gizmos? Don't tell me what they are or what they do, but how do you feel about the gizmos in the game?
They're pretty fun. I feel like if they just weren't there and were like pieces of paper, I feel like they would be pretty boring.
Yeah?
But they make it fun.
Cool. So you're looking at pictures and you're trying to use these gizmos to find things in these pictures to do what? What's the point of the game? What are you trying to do in each of these chapters?
At the first card you get, there's a challenge, like first find out like what the zombies are planning and stuff like that.
Okay, so there's questions that they're asking.
Questions, and you have to solve them. Sometimes if you look, there can be a lot of questions in one chapter, but that just adds more.
Good. So you're looking through all these cards, you're trying to find all of these questions, to answer the questions, right? Puzzles, right? Gizmos. So there are 3 chapters in this game. You enjoyed the game. You said all 3 chapters were fun for you?
Yes.
Okay. And we don't want to spoil anything, but there is a bit of a surprise at the end with some extra stuff when we go back and look at those same chapters again. Was that interesting to you? Was that fun to go back and look for new things?
Yeah.
Tell me more about that. What was interesting about that?
I found something that we weren't supposed to know until
You did, that's right. You found the mystery early.
end, and I was like, I knew that was supposed to be important.
Yep, you did. You found the main mystery before we even went back and solved the main mystery. Yeah. So, I know you enjoyed this game, and we've explained a little bit about what the game is, but why was this game fun for you?
I think it's because I have a zombie board game.
Oh, that's right. We should mention that. This game is the same universe as the zombie game you have. So there's a game called Zombie Kidz, right? And you bought that game a long, long time ago. And I don't know if you know that, but this game is the same kids in the same universe as that game.
Yeah, and there's a guy with the yellow hoodie, and you get to see that guy again in this. That's it. Thank you. I don't miss that.
But what about this game was interesting or fun for you? Why do you like this game?
I think it's fun because I really like my puzzles, and I feel like that it's just a dream for me to have that many puzzles.
Oh, that's cool. Okay. How about the difficulty? Was this game hard, easy, in the middle? What do you think?
The difficulty, it's pretty in the middle. I wouldn't say it's like so hard it becomes a rage, and it's not so easy. It's like that game where you try to like put the right shapes in the right place. It's not like that level easy, but it's also not way too hard.
Right.
It's in the middle. It's really cool.
So tell me, in this game, it's in the middle. I like that. It's not too easy. It's not too hard. Do you think this is the kind of game where you can get stuck on a puzzle, or you just have to keep working until you sort of figure out the answers to the puzzle?
Figure it out. And also, since there's a lot of questions, you can never get bored.
Would this be a game that's better to play by yourself or with a big group, or how would you? What's the best way to play this game? Why would a group be a good game?
Hopefully a group of 2, maybe like a group of 3.
Why?
Someone who has played it before and someone who never.
Oh, you think it might be helpful to have a guide through the game?
Yes.
Okay, but why else? Why you said 3 people? What's the third person for?
The guide.
The guide. Okay, so what are the other 2 people
and the
for?
two people who one helps you and the other helps them.
Okay, so helping each other is a fun way to play this game. Maybe discussing the things together to figure out the problems together. Cool. Is there anything else you want to say about this game that you didn't say yet?
I think I know that everyone should at least play at least once. If you don't like it, it's fine, but I think the majority is gonna like it. I'm like, what not to like? It's a zombie invasion.
And if there was more games in this series like this, would you play those as well?
Yes.
Great, I'm glad to hear it. Well, thank you for your ideas and your thoughts.
Bye.
Thanks, Wyatt, for sharing your thoughts with us. Now, before I talk at all about how I feel about the game, let me just say now I've played through this or sat through this twice now. The first time I played through myself with my 5-year-old son and my 3-year-old daughter. And yes, they are definitely younger than the 7+ it shows on the box here, but let me say that my 5-year-old son is quite a gamer. He plays games with me all the time. He's really into games, and he really, really enjoyed the experience in this box. Yes, he probably couldn't have put together all of the threads himself and answered all of the questions himself, but with just a little bit of prompting from me, he was able to quite easily get into this game. And more importantly, my 3-year-old daughter, who should be way younger than necessary for this game, and granted she wouldn't have been able to play it by herself, had a blast searching for all of the hidden things in here, trying to figure things out, just looking at cards, playing with the cards. The experience here is enough that even if you're not sort of old enough to figure out the puzzle or work through the solutions yourself, there's still a lot of stuff that can go on here, because in the second play then, that Wyatt was just talking about a minute ago, we also played with his 5.5-year-old brother as well, who also really enjoyed searching for the hidden things in the cards and looking for all of the stuff we needed to find to figure out the questions, even if he wasn't always able to put 2 and 2 together to connect the things to figure out the solutions to the questions. He was really, really enjoying just the exploration and discovery piece of this game. So I will say that before I give you my thoughts, with the correct sort of parental guidance through this experience, I think the 7+ is quite a bit higher than it needs to be. A 6-year-old, a 5-year-old could definitely play through this with a parent. And as I said, my 3-year-old really enjoyed the experience. She kept asking to play the monster game every day. We played sort of 1 chapter per day moving through it. And both her and my son continuously asked to get this back out and continuously asked to play this game. So that does definitely mean something about the experience in this box. So how about for me? I have to say that I also really enjoyed what's going on here. The story that's being told is cutesy, it's silly, but it's fun and it's interesting. And it's very fun to walk through the story and figure out what's going on and sort of connect, because you're seeing through the different perspectives of different characters and creatures and people in these pictures. It's really cool to try and sort of piece together this scene of what's going on and how it's going on, and this connects to this and this connects to this, and oh, look at that. And I say that now, and as I'm saying that, my 5.5-year-old nephew, who I mentioned playing, kept picking up cards and saying, hey, look, there's this thing that connects to this thing that connects to that thing, that had absolutely nothing to do with any of the questions we were being asked, but was really fun for him to sort of put together the scene and figure out how all of the different things connected. So there's definitely a lot of sort of effort that's been put into this game to connect everything together and to tell a story even outside of the questions that are being asked, to connect things and sort of make this sort of living world around the narrative that's being told. And I really, really enjoyed that experience. Now, is it a super challenging puzzle game? No, but it is a family game. It is a children's game. It is designed for younger audiences. But even saying that, I enjoyed piecing it all together. And the reason I say it's not a super difficult puzzle game is because there's not really any puzzle you need to solve. It's all there. Everything is on the cards. You just need to piece it all together to answer the question. And at the end of the mission, or at the end of every memory, you're asked all of those questions, and you need to answer them. And if you answer them correctly, you check it off as correctly answered, and if not, you don't. But there is no sort of fail except for I didn't figure out the questions. And for the most part, if you pay enough attention, there's no sort of timer, there's no end game. So being able to answer the question is simply just a matter of time and paying attention and looking. And everything comes from the cards, and the cards are a stack of cards. So you can see that if there are still cards left, then there's still more stuff to find. And that's true about the special cards as well. And I don't know if it's cheating or not cheating to look and say, hey, look, we've got these cards left. Where can I get to them? How can I get to them? And sort of reverse engineer the way you're supposed to get there. It's kind of cheating a little bit. It also is helpful in a game that is based for families and children, that the parent can see these things still exist And how can I slowly sort of push my kids to get to those things to make sure that they have all the information? Now, once they have the information, it's fine to let the kids sort of figure out the puzzle or the answer to the question themselves, but it is nice to be able to know that I've found everything, now let's solve the puzzle, rather than some of the more difficult sort of puzzle escape room kind of games where it really is about a hard puzzle, and if you can't get it, you're just stuck. That doesn't happen here, and that's both good and bad. If you're looking for an intense puzzle, obviously this isn't the one for you. But if you're interested in a sort of detective style, figure out the mystery by answering questions, looking at the scene around you, I had a lot of fun with this, even personally as my own playthrough of this game. Yes, my kids were helping, and part of the experience and part of the fun was watching my kids have fun. But it was also really fulfilling for me to see the story and enjoy the story, and there's definitely something there even for me. Now, would I buy this as an adult gamer without kids? Maybe not, but I'm very glad I had the experience to play through this, and I know that there's a new one coming out, or that's already recently come out, called Flashback Lucy, I believe, that is supposed to step things up a little bit more, and is to be a slightly more mature storyline, so I'm excited to take a look at that. But one more thing I want to briefly mention here without spoiling anything are the gizmos. Each of these memories has some physical component that allows you to interact with the cards in a unique way, and I won't say any more than that, but I did enjoy what they brought to the game and how they switched things up and how they allowed you to see things that you weren't seeing before. And sometimes it was just gaining access to other cards, but sometimes it was actually seeing things or doing things that you couldn't have done without those gizmos, and I really did enjoy that. There were a few small places where the gizmos didn't quite work the way that they were supposed to work. One of them in particular, I'm not going to say more than that. I did find some comments on BGG that other people had that same problem. I'm hoping that in future printings they fix that, but if you do run up against those sort of inability to find certain things, definitely check out the BGG forums, because you're not the only one, and the answers or the sort of fix to those solutions is there. So that was a little bit disappointing, but I think that's more just an unfortunate accident and not really the nature of the thing that they were doing. And I still applaud them for trying the things that they were trying to do, even if they didn't always work the way they were supposed to work. I really enjoyed the gizmos, and I'm excited to see in the next Flashback game what kind of gizmos and what kind of unique new ways they give you to interact with these cards. Also, one more thing I don't want to spoil, but there is a sort of sealed section at the back of the rulebook that gives you the opportunity to sort of return and reevaluate the older memories, the earlier memories, to find new things, to sort of pull together this extra overarching puzzle. And that one did become more of a fun search kind of thing for kids who like to find, those hidden page kind of things or figure out code kind of things. That was another nice twist that was different than the searching through the pictures to figure out the story kind of puzzle in the main piece of the game. And I was really happy to see that added on, because again, both my kids and my nephews really enjoyed that extra sort of piece at the end that did sort of wrap up the story, while also potentially leading to something that might come later in the future, I hope. I do really, really enjoy this experience. I hope that there are more games that come out in this line. I'm very excited to try out Flashback Lucy at some point. So definitely, if I do get a chance to try that out, it will be coming to the channel. So look back for that in the future, potentially. That's basically all I have to say about this. It's simple. There's no real way to get stuck. It's all about looking and looking until you figure it out. It is definitely geared towards families and children, but it looks great. The story's fun. The experience was a whole lot of fun, and I'm very glad that I got to try it out. And if you have kids who like to solve puzzles, who like to figure out questions, who like sort of narrative story in their kind of games like this, definitely check this one out. Strong recommend from me. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I hope this video was helpful for you. As always, I do ask that you like, subscribe, and click the bell icon below, because it does help out my channel. As well as I mentioned, this did come from my sponsorship with Noble Knight Games. So again, if you do make any purchases on Noble Knight, please make sure to use the affiliate link down in the comments, or sorry, in the description of the video below. And I'll see you all next time. Thanks.